This channel operates out of a garage-turned-studio. It was built by me with my bare hands, and this week my garage studio got the attention of multi-millionaire and owner of Linus Media Group, Linus Sebastian. He called this channel parasitic. He accused me of lying. He even claimed that I was doing this to enrich myself. Let's look at the receipts and see if I actually got cooked by Linus, or if Linus only cooked himself. He dismissed the video we made, claiming we were resurfacing ancient drama and that the video contributed no new information. That comment reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of what this channel even is. We're not a news channel, we're documentarians. When we covered the DMC-12 DeLorean, we weren't breaking news about a car from 1982. When we covered the failures of the Nintendo Virtual Boy and Elizabeth Holmes, we weren't looking for a new scoop, we were looking to show the lesson. Linus acts like if his past has an expiration date. He believes that because he has moved on, you are obligated to forget. He is trying to gatekeep history, and he's trying to dictate what topics are allowed to be discussed, based on what makes him comfortable. But clearly, he's wrong. There's
140,000
people as of today that didn't watch that video for breaking news. They watched it because the story isn't over yet, and history doesn't expire just because one of the characters wishes it would. We have covered companies like Apple, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sega. We've discussed the failures of products from trillion-dollar companies. We've discussed the wrongdoings of people like Jeff Bezos, Elizabeth Holmes, John DeLorean, and now, most recently, Linus Sebastian. Not one of those previous entities tried to complain. Not one of them attacked the credibility of the reporting. I imagine because they knew that the levels of success they had risen to would garner some scrutiny. Plus, it's all public knowledge. Lots of channels, lots of places have reported about these things time and time again. But this week, that changed. Linus Sebastian decided to respond. But he didn't do it through a professional email. He didn't do it through a press release. He chose to do it by arguing in a public Reddit comment section. Linus Sebastian wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to be the top guy, but doesn't want the top guy problems. He ended his comment by wishing this channel good luck, but luck has nothing to do with it. Relevance isn't decided by a multi-millionaire's permission, it is decided by the audience.
140,000
people didn't click on that video because of any luck. They clicked because the message matters to them. To justify his reaction, the owner of Linus Media Group made a specific factual claim in that thread. He stated that I have no outreach from you in my inbox. Well, here are the receipts. The email was sent 1 month ago to his public address. Crucially, it was also CC'd to info@linusmediagroup.com. This was not a friendly direct message that was sent to a personal account. This was a formal business inquiry sent to the corporate help desk of a media company, the same one that any of you may need to contact if you need to reach out to the company. When the owner says he didn't see it, that's not proof of wrongdoing on the part of this channel. That is an admission of operational failure on the part of his company. He's the owner and chief vision officer of LMG, but he's not the CEO. There's an actual entire staff paid to manage communications. He reminds us constantly how many employees he has. By claiming he missed a clear corporate business inquiry, he's admitting that he's bypassing his own executive team to fight battles in Reddit comments. It proves exactly what he admitted when he stepped down as CEO, that he lacks the temperament to run an organization this large. It isn't the first time this has happened, but Linus outlined in a specific way how he wished it would have been handled. When Gamers Nexus, Steve Burke criticized LTT regarding the handling of the Billet Labs prototype where they mistested it and refused to retest it and then sold Billet Labs property without their knowledge, the owner, Linus's primary defense was procedural. He argued that Steve Burke should have contacted him personally before publishing the report.
We have proven over the years, again and again, we welcome constructive criticism, and we go out of our way to maintain open communication channels with our community. Right to respond matters because of the impact that it can have on your accuracy.
He established a public standard. Reach out to me first before you publish any news about me. This channel followed that standard. We sent the written request, we copied it to 2 emails, and even waited an entire month before publishing the piece. We followed the protocol he demanded of his peers. What did we get from it? Not a yes, not a no, not a conversation, only silence followed by insults. This confirms a critical reality. The demand for outreach was never about fairness or accuracy, it was about controlling the narrative. I doubt that if Steve Burke had reached out to them, the result would have been any different. They thought because of the size of my channel, no one would care. but now they're realizing different. They're trying to kill the messenger. Linus Sebastian, owner of a multi-million-dollar company, LTT, accused this channel of enriching itself by criticizing him. But let's take a look at how he built his own empire. Linus Media Group has generated millions of dollars by criticizing the failures of Apple, Nvidia, Intel, and UFA. When Apple makes a bad repair policy, Linus hurries up to make a video about it. He gets millions of views from it, plus he runs ads, plus he sells screwdrivers, even sells Trust Me Bro shirts to mock warranty laws, so he can monetize his criticism. He claims that I'm enriching myself. Enriching myself? I'm working out of a garage. Linus Sebastian is a man who publicly bragged about turning down a $100 million buyout offer. When you're sitting on that kind of wealth, accusing a small creator of being greedy is invalid criticism. It's just out of touch. When Linus does this, he calls it consumer advocacy. He calls it holding companies accountable, which I don't disagree with. But when a smaller creator applies that exact same framework to him from our garage studio here in America, where we document his business failures, exercising our freedom of speech, suddenly it's no longer advocacy, it's parasitic. Linus Sebastian believes he has the exclusive right to monetize criticism. He believes he's the only one allowed to get rich by pointing out when a corporation fails. The final layer of irony regarding this parasite label, in a recent interview, Linus defined exactly what integrity means to him. He boasted about ripping into companies like Nvidia, stating, "We only want to work with companies that have the integrity to be criticized."
We go out of our way to make it clear that when a company is deserving of criticism, that we will not shy away from it. We're not afraid to criticize the hand that feeds us, because at the end of the day, we only want to work with companies that have the integrity to be criticized, that take accountability for the errors that they make.
That take accountability for the errors that they make. Linus demands that Nvidia and Intel sit quietly and listen when he tears them apart. He calls that integrity. But when the camera is turned around, when a small channel points out his business failures, the demand for integrity disappears. The acceptance of errors is replaced by name-calling. He believes he's the sheriff of this YouTube industry. He believes he's the only one allowed to hold the gun. He wants to be the only judge, yet he refuses to be the defendant. He admits that when a product flops, when the market rejects it, he orders his team to find a way to sell it anyway. Why though? Not because the consumer needs it, but because he has to guarantee a return on an investment for a brand. He explicitly states, "I take the word partner extremely seriously." He isn't talking about partnering with you, the viewer. He's talking about partnering with corporations to conspire to sell you things you don't need or want, with the goal of enriching himself with your money. You see, his enrichment comes at the cost of the viewer, whereas my enrichment, if there is even any enrichment at all, comes from the cost of simply telling the truth. He isn't team consumer, he's team corporate asset. And that's why he hates this channel, because I'm not a partner, nor am I a brand. I'm just a critic. And to him, critics are bad for his business. If he wants to talk about parasitic behavior, enriching yourself off of others, we need to look at his record when his own money is on the line. For years, Linus Tech Tips generated massive revenue promoting the browser extension Honey. Eventually, reports surfaced that the software was engaging in malicious activity. Specifically, there were allegations of affiliate skimming, a practice that effectively diverts revenue money away from other hardworking content creators and websites. When Linus discovered this, he had a choice. As the self-proclaimed sheriff of YouTube, he could have done what he always does: make a loud public video warning his audience and protecting his fellow creators from having their income stolen. But he didn't. He quietly ended the sponsorship and said nothing. When asked why he stayed silent, his defense was purely financial. He claimed that issuing a public warning would have unleashed the internet hate machine, potentially hurting the affiliate revenue of other creators using the tool. But critics, including Right to Repair advocate Louis Rossmann, saw it differently. They argued that Linus prioritized his own brand safety and conflict avoidance over his ethical duty to inform the public. If Apple or Nvidia had a hidden flaw to protect revenue, Linus would have uploaded a 20-minute rant calling for their heads. But when he's the one profiting, the consumer advocate suddenly decides that silence is the best policy. He accuses me of trying to enrich myself, and I have no reason to lie. Of course, this is a business. Literally every channel on YouTube is trying to enrich themselves in one way or another. But there is a fundamental difference. He is enriching himself by staying silent while his friends get looted. That sounds like he's a little confused about what an actual parasite is. This pattern of putting profit over protection isn't an isolated incident either. Look at this Trust Me Bro warranty controversy. For a long time, LTT refused to offer a standard written warranty for their expensive products. Instead, they relied on an informal promise they literally called Trust Me Bro. Louis Rossmann criticized this heavily, pointing out that it was a mockery of the very consumer protections laws that Linus uses to bash other companies. A formal warranty is a legal liability. It costs money to maintain. By refusing to write it down, Linus was protecting his bottom line at the expense of your consumer rights. We do not hate Linus Sebastian, but we will not accept the label of parasite for committing acts of journalism and free speech. The offer to Linus stands. If you claim the video is incorrect and you claim the narrative is unfair, then sit down with me and let's talk. Uncut, unfiltered. The facts are wrong, then prove it live. I have no problem admitting if I was wrong. Do you? Until then, this is just a guy in a garage with a camera, and I'm not going anywhere.
Fucking find a way to sell it.
Yeah.
No such thing as a bad product, just a bad price.